Reporting live from Air Sexton at Jack Edwards International Airport. Who knew that they now got commercial flights in Gulf Shores? We're currently fueled by fully guaranteed buyouts and unresolved grievances. Welcome back to Agent Confidential. This is Jimmy's Whiners and Losers, College Football Playoff Edition. I'm Foe Jimmy Sexton. Quick housekeeping note up top. If you follow Jimmy on X at Jimmy Sexton 9 and you've noticed the silence, that's not strategy. That's Twitter service Hades. Almost a week. No post, no insight, no gentle reminders that buyouts are suggestions, not penalties. We're not at full escalation yet, but Cecile has a document open. And Elon, I know you're a listener. Grease the skids before this becomes a CAA situation. All right, let's talk about where we are, because college football fans have selected memories and unlimited outrage. We had a two-team playoff. Teams 3, 4, and 5 screamed conspiracy. We expanded to 4 teams. Now, teams 5 through 10 were furious. Now, we're at 12 teams, which means everyone is mad, especially Notre Dame, who packed up their feelings, grabbed their ball, and stayed home. A real shame, by the way. Several food sponsors were counting on Notre Dame fans to move the product. Lost revenue. That's sad. Meanwhile, Buyout Island is at near capacity, which tells you everything you need to know about the season. All right, let's get into the games. Oregon versus James Madison. James Madison flies across the country to put their Dukes up against a very serious Oregon team. Dan Lanning's Ducks are fast, disciplined, and built like a program already negotiating future buyout language. JMU has had a solid season, but their lone Power 4 matchup ended in a 14-point loss to Louisville. And Oregon is Louisville with better depth and fewer excuses. This one won't be close for long. Jimmy's loser, James Madison. Ole Miss versus Tulane. The party capital of the world sends the Green Wave into what used to be an SEC matchup before realignment turned geography into a suggestion. Ole Miss is rested, angry, and Pete Golding is back doing what he does best, making quarterbacks uncomfortable and occasionally spitting Skull into a defensive game plan. Both teams lost their head coaches, though Tulane deserves credit for letting John Sumrall finish the job before riding off to his next opportunity, which, coincidentally, probably involved a phone call from me. Ole Miss rolls. Jimmy's loser, Tulane. Texas A&M versus Miami. Miami leaves the swanky confines of South Beach and heads to the anti-South Beach, College Station, Texas, where the barbecue is aggressive, the traditions have traditions, and the buyouts are historic. Let me be clear. Texas A&M didn't just pay Jimbo Fisher's buyout. They invested in infrastructure. That buyout partially funded Air Sexton, built a new terminal on Buyout Island, and paid for this very jet fuel. Mario Cristobal's Hurricanes are talented, emotional, and fully capable of reminding you why talent alone doesn't pay the bills. Mike Elko's Aggies are coming off a rough loss to Texas, but they've had time to reset, refocus, and remember that in College Station, expectations are high and the patience is fully non-guaranteed. Best game of the weekend, but the home team survives. Jimmy's loser, the U. Oh, and Miami, if you need a return flight, you know who to call. Alabama versus Oklahoma. The Crimson Pachyderms head to Norman looking to stop a 2-game skid against Brent Venables' wagon racing Sooners. Earlier this year, Alabama unveiled the Arby's game plan. Turnovers, turnovers, and more turnovers. Venables is a defensive savant, and he'll have another great plan ready. But Kalen DeBoer continues coaching his way out of the longest shadow in the sport. That's not easy, Paul. Don't overlook a Bama defense that held Oklahoma to barely 200 yards earlier this season, despite doing everything else wrong. Jimmy's seen this movie before, and the sequel pays better. Alabama rights the ship and moves on. Jimmy's loser, in a close one, Oklahoma. Well, that's it for this week's edition of Agent Confidential, Whiners and Losers, College Football Playoff Edition. And remember, if you're not winning, you're whining. And yes, we're still hopeful Twitter restores my access soon. Cecile says we're making progress, which is agent code for somebody finally replied. Air Sexton is wheels up for the safe confines of Memphis. Throttle, tell Memphis Center we have a priority package, a fresh gallon of those magnificent Bon Secours Fisheries oysters. We'll need to land ahead of every FedEx plane that's en route to Memphis. Buyout Island just added another helipad. Get me out of here.